Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Penguin Review Series. I'm the Clown Prince of Hide and Seek, Travis Snell, and I'm joined by...
I'm the rainy day, Kirkland Patzer.
I am the Oz of Wald, Taylor Field.
There you go. Quite the names going on here. But yes, we are here to discuss the penultimate episode of Penguin, Episode 7, the finale. Boys, we're here. The finale is next week. It's coming to a close, and no more Matt Reeves' Batman epic crime saga, whatever it's called, till 2026. It's going to be a long wait, but hopefully it ends in a satisfying way. And is it set up that way? I don't know. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, lots of stuff happening this week as usual. Side quest, Agatha's done, so that's done. We will have a newscast. Patrons, you're going to be getting some new retros. So I don't know what's on the dock. It's either Superman retro or Fantastic Four, but you're going to be getting one or both this month. There'll be bread and butter, all that good jazz. After month will be coming after month. Our new show after month, after 9 will be coming up. And yeah, obviously we are a little bit loopy now as we're recording this. As we have just stayed up for 24 hours. We did our Extra Life charity stream. I had about a 2-hour nap. I was watching the Commanders-Bears game, going strong. I was watched first half, woke up, game was over. I don't know what.
That was me with the Formula One race today, actually. So
Yeah.
very, very similar. I was good for the first 10 laps, and then woke up second last lap. I'm like, holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's like in a movie when you're like, where am I? Like Moon Knight. Remember when he was like, and you'd wake up, you'd be in like Egypt, like what the fuck? But yeah, so obviously that might attest to if we're sounding a little more tired, or we might be get a few things wrong. That's why we're not operating 100%, but we're getting that episode out there early. We're gonna talk and do a bunch of thank yous when we do the newscast later on this week, because there's already a bunch of news, so we got that. But just as a general, people, a thank you to anyone that did tune in, watch, donate. We appreciate that. We raised $1,300 and I think it's 87. No,
That should be it.
$1,387. Yeah. So as you can see, I'm gonna just boot Kirk around the room for a little bit just to give the two for here. As you can see, a lot. Actually, I'll switch it because last week I think we were changed. I have no longer my hair of 2 years is all gone now, and then yeah, I'm looking. Everyone says I got the Lex Luthor thing. I do have to admit myself, I think you guys can tell me otherwise. I think I got a pretty good round head. Like it's pretty. I understand that, but then Taylor, you're supposed to get back up there.
You can put candies in people's mouths.
Whoa, and then Taylor, you want to show what you got? Yeah, cherry. You want to show people what you got going on there?
Yeah. How do I get big? How do I get enlarged here? There we go.
Oh, well, you gotta ask Madison about that. I don't know. Yeah, so he's got the Hulk Hogan stash handlebars.
Hey, brother.
Yeah, so you got that going on. But yeah, so we did that. Lots of other fun stuff. The stream is up there for everyone to watch. You can go back. We sang some karaoke. I don't even know. We did 24
The
hours.
X-Men
of stuff.
cameoed.
The X-Men cameo. Oh, yeah, the X-Men cameo when I had my nice long hair. So, yeah, it was a good time. The stream's up there, all 24 hours of it. If you need to ask us, like I know Maddie wants to watch me in Kirkland's college game. We won't spoil who won that. If you want to ask us, we'll give you like a general time frame where it is. But tons of fun. Again, thank you, everybody. But we'll shout out specific names and everything on the newscast as well because it's a big part. But, Mr. Passer, what did you think of the penultimate episode for The Penguin? Top Hat is what it was called.
Yeah, I really liked this episode. I thought it was a nice, like stormy weather episode in the sense of just things are getting intense to be rounding off the season here. Like people are clashing, and I don't know. There's some nice, satisfying moments that have happened so far throughout the show, and I think there's another episode that carried on with that, and very much looking forward to next episode, which is basically the exact same way that I felt. I mean, I guess every episode I felt
Yes.
that way, but
more so now because finale.
yeah, and like last week it had like a big cliffhanger, and I feel like this week had like that also, but it's not like they're carrying the same cliffhanger and just pushing it along to next week. Like it's like something else that's gonna be, like exciting.
Are they not, though?
I guess so. Okay, yeah.
We'll discuss this.
I guess I agree with you in some ways, but it feels a little bit different. Maybe I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe one way to say it is that like we did have stuff like checked off the list in this episode. I think there's some things going into next week that we won't really need to be covering because it closed that chapter in this
Abruptly,
episode.
some of the things,
Yeah.
yeah.
But no, I think it was really, really solid. Minor spoilers. There's like a nice flashback sequence that I thought was like really intense and just pretty I don't know, just doesn't paint certain characters in the right ways. But yeah, no, I thought definitely the performances of like characters in those flashbacks was just like so impressive. Like
Yeah.
again,
Really
minor
good
spoilers, but
casting.
someone does like little Oz, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, like this guy's just so good at like the little, I don't know, just mannerisms, the way that he speaks, and just his little one-liners. Like he looks like our older Oz. So shouts out to that actor, and yeah, I think it's just such a great show. It's sad that it's coming to an end. But yeah, I trust that they'll impress with a nice finale. It won't be unsatisfying.
Yeah, we need a little Oz series. You know, I don't know what he get up to. Maybe just make up. Oh, without spoilers, it seems like Little Oz was up to some bad stuff. But I'm like, I'll be fine if it's just little hijinks. But still, yeah, the casting director, whoever it is, fantastic job. Even for the whatever, it's my spoilers. It's a flashback of Oz and his mom. Even the actress that's playing his mom.
Yeah, I thought it was the same
Bitch.
actress for a
Yeah.
second. I'm like, damn, like is she just de-aged somehow? But like, yeah,
So
shouts
that's
out.
one thing from like top to bottom. Obviously, the Batman has great casting. Penguin, like everybody cast in the series in the Matt Reeves universe, you're doing a great job. Just keep it up. Hopefully, great villains are coming in Batman 2, and you get some more great casting. Like, look, first casting we got was Passing, right, and that started us off a good hop. So I'm very excited for next week. I do think this is the first time because I was talking about this with Mike quickly, and he said like another great episode and like another perfect season, and I was feeling that way for the most part until this episode. I'm not saying this show might not be like show might up to this point. The show is definitely a 10 for me. It still could be depending on next week. My issues with it though, it's not like sometimes I have the issues where it's like, okay, they presented me this problem and I got to see how they handle it next week. There's just a few too many convenient things in this episode for me that happened. It just kind of felt like it brought me back into, oh, we're in a TV show, because it got a little too small scale for something that's big. I think there is something big scale that also happened that I felt very like comic booky and not in a good way. Like the way this universe, I'm not saying that Matt Reeves doesn't like comic books, but he's bringing them into reality in a sense. This felt like very mustache twirly kind of moment, and I do think I thought we were gonna move forward a bit more on some stuff, but I think the same cliffhanger we had last week is the same cliffhanger this week. The situation's changed a little bit, and there's also some issues I maybe have with Sophia's character, which is odd because I felt like we were in a very good place with her, and I feel like in this episode they kind of want to do a detour, and I just don't think, unless, and this is a problem that could be fixed next week, if she survives. So there you go, minus 4. She doesn't die in this episode. If she survives, maybe some certain things could happen. I go, okay, this will make sense. But to take a pivot, and then if we do say goodbye to her, whether it's via Arkham or death next week, I kind of feel like, why did we need to go this route? So I have a few questions. Maybe we'll talk them out, but there are a few things that I'm just like stern on, of like, I didn't like how that went down. Felt very easy. So yeah, again, and nothing, not like a big takedown. It's like, oh man, big trouble. It's like, no, just a little weaker than the rest. I would definitely have this one placed last, but I still think we're set up to like a great finale. I trust them to land the plane safely on this one. It wasn't like, oh man, I'm worried. Just like, okay, little. Usually when I think the show we've had just nitpicks so far, I think this is the first episode I had like a couple issues. But maybe once we talk them out, maybe they won't be as much issues. We'll see. I'm always willing to change my mind, So we'll see. But Mr. Field, what did you think of this episode?
Yeah. This episode was fantastic. I really liked it, and I thought we're gonna get something very different, but it kind of undermined my expectations in a really good way, and I thought that we got a lot of really cool stuff that kind of filled in the gaps a little bit more, but it moved the plot along, and I'm on the edge of my seat, excited to see what next week is. I really, with the cliffhanger from last week, I really wasn't sure how this is going to start, and that's why a big part of the way that this episode started subverted my expectations, and in the good way. And so I'm really happy with where we're at with this episode, and yeah, I'm really I'm shocked at a couple things too that did happen, because I was kind of like laughing, but it was just like, God, this is just so fucking crazy. And just, yeah, Oz is just, he does some things that reminds you of how much of a piece of shit he really is, especially because it's the sequence of these scenes too, where and this isn't a spoiler, but he'll be like patting a guy on the back or like saying like praising some people, and then like something happens and it's like, wow, he is a piece of shit, which I'll highlight it in spoilers what exactly it is, because it's like, fuck, that's just brutal.
I'm excited to ask you a specific question because I'm very curious on your alive meter on a certain character after some revelations this week. But
A live meter.
yeah, like we'll wait till spoilers. Don't
Okay,
worry.
okay.
Curious.
Yeah.
Curious. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back into spoilers. If you've not seen the episode, come back later, check it out. We'll be here, and then we'll be right back. And we are back. So I said a live mirror. Like I feel like the past few weeks, I keep checking in on you with your Victor scale on if he is alive or not by the time the show ends. And I don't know. I just felt like once I saw that Penguin killed his own two brothers, I was like, there's no way Taylor can think that Victor is going to make it out of this show. Because in my opinion, and this is not really a negative for me, I need to stew on a bit more. I don't think and to set up, yeah, they do a flashback. It's Penguin, his two brothers, and his mom. He wants to just stay and hang with us. I think we always thought he was a mama's boy, but this really showed how much he very much is a mama's boy. He just wants to stay and hang out with his mom. So they go down. They're doing some shady dealings. A mobster gives his brother a 50. They go play hide and seek in the place where they've been growing the bliss, like obviously years later. And then they kind of put him in like an embarrassing situation where he has to climb a ladder. Obviously, he has the gobbled foot, so that can't really go well for him. They're kind of laughing at him. And then this jumps to Penguin locking his brothers up in the water central, like I don't know, whatever it is, something water main or something like that.
It was like a flood tunnel or something like that.
Yeah,
it
something
had like
like
the
that.
classic like old tanker ship like seal door. So
Yeah. So
not
and
a
then
good place to be trapped.
No, not at all. And then he just kills them. For me, this isn't a negative for me because of like I could buy Penguin would do that. I think they could have maybe made his brothers maybe a bit more assholes. Like I don't know. Like I felt like it was very minor stuff, but this is why I just thought like that stuff I'm fine with. I don't really have nitpicks, but this is why I thought Taylor he killed his brothers over like some very minor things. You still think our man Victor's gonna get out alive after this?
I think that Victor fits into a different kind of card than certain other characters.
You keep making reasons and excuses why. I can't
That's
wait till
just
next
how I
week.
feel. Like when you
stand
see
over his body,
when you
bloody.
see like there's certain things here where okay, yes, there's certain things that young Oz does that makes sense, and that kind of sticks with him because he's a liar, and that just follows him into adulthood as he becomes a gangster and the leader of his own crew. But I think you also have to examine it as okay, well, he's just a kid, and he made a really, really rash decision. And while he locked them in there, I don't think he was planning on them getting killed. I think he was expecting them to get out and find their way out, but he didn't give a shit. And when they ended up dying, I think he lives with that, and I think it is heavy on him because he doesn't like people talking about him or anything like that. And so I think that there is that kind of there is something on his conscience about that and what he did, and that sticks with him because that was just a kid making a very emotional, rash decision, and it totally fucked up, and it turned into something very, very bad. Whereas when you look at Victor, I think, okay, well, Oz is much older, and he's done all this different things, and so I think with Victor, I mean, it could have gone very different in that situation. But the way he handled it when Vic was like, I'm sorry, and he's like, fuck your guilt. Like, go out there, like, let's get the army. Like, and it's just like, okay. And it's just
and
like,
where's Vic been?
Unconscious.
He's unconscious? No, this whole episode though. Once at the base, at the end, Oz when the whole
no, because
happened?
I would say he definitely couldn't have rallied them that fast. Because I think the whole period between Oz getting attacked by Sal in the apartment and then going to their drops location, their like manufacturing point in the sewers, I would say that was probably like half an hour to an hour. Now at the end, when I'd say you could probably have like still the same day, a few more hours, but I think you're telling Vic has to go to like the triads and like the 4 other gangs and just rally them together to get an army. And so Oz knows that, and Oz just has his crew with him. But the thing that caught me off guard a little bit, but again, it just reaffirms how much of a piece of shit he really is that he saw that there was C4 in there and he just ran when he saw it in the vehicle. He didn't tell
Yes.
anyone. And then you see the scene of the guy look like, what's going on? And then,
After these men saved his life, like I just love that you think Victor's gonna make it out. Maybe
Victor's
I'm
good.
wrong, and we
Victor's
get. But I just feel like every time this show shows Cobblepot, or I guess sorry, he's just Cobb in the show, shows him care about someone, save someone, you're with me. He turns on them. Sophia, his brothers, these guys literally like could have just. They probably would still be alive if they just jumped ship and went with Sal and worked for them. They'd probably still be good.
absolutely would be alive.
Yeah, but now they're dead, blown up bodies in the sewer here and everything. So we got lots to talk about, but I want to go back to Kirkland. Did you think Oz meant to kill his brothers or not?
I thought a lot of that was really interesting because it seemed like a setup for like a serial killer type like psychopath type like behavior of like mental disorder of just being like so attached to his mom. And like I feel like that's why I had some issues actually like with that flashback scene, because to your point, Travis, they don't really show the brothers being like assholes to him,
To like a huge
Yeah,
warrant death, or even because you said like, oh, he just thought they'd get out. If they get out and they tell his mom he locked us in this thing, I feel like he'd lose all these brownie points with his mom, who already is like kind of hard on him. So that's my only pushback against. Oh, he thought they'd get back, because I feel like the mom would be fucking livid with Oz. Then of like, you locked them in like a water
Yeah.
tunnel, you know?
No, 100%. And I think I was expecting him to maybe be more concerned when the rain just kept coming, because there's a couple times when he like looks outside and he just keeps seeing rain, but he's just like, yeah, no, that's fine. And
They
he's
even
just
show a
enjoying
glass of
his time with
water
his
that's
mom.
like
So-
overfilled to like remind him like, hey, that could be your
Yeah.
brothers right now. you
and
know?
like yeah, like that scene makes it seem like, okay, this character has like no remorse for his brothers at all. Like he clearly is like so cold-hearted that like he never even wanted them around. All he wants is just him and his mom. And I think that type of behavior hasn't really like translated well to what we've already seen between the dynamic between Cobb and like his mom. So I think there was just some disconnect there, and maybe I was hoping for some more filling in the blanks, like connecting those two, of maybe just more moments of, I don't know, just showing that he's like obsessed with his mom and like just like that level of like attachment. Because even here, when he's trying to find like his mom, like it doesn't seem like he's losing his absolute mind over it. Like it seems like it's his highest priority, but he's still like calm and like collected of like managing his business. Where I feel like the little boy that we see in the early portions of the show is like a Norman Bates level of like
Yes.
attachment to his mother, and like I would burn the whole fucking city like to get my mom back. So like I don't know, and maybe I'm just maybe that is what they were going for, and I just didn't like see it that cleanly. But
Well, because even when they want to do the swap, he still is meant to like take out Sophia. So he didn't even truly intend to just flat out, okay, I'm gonna, we've gone too far. I'm gonna give you the bliss. Just give me my mom. He was doing another trap again. So like he was using his mom as
Yeah.
bait, you know. So but again, it's been lots of years, and she's sick now, right? She's kind of near the end of his life, so maybe he looks at it as like, well,
True.
it's only so much I can do for my mom, you know.
yeah,
But
I think I was just really surprised to get that level of like cold-heartedness towards his brothers, and then just
Yeah.
no follow-up with like he literally just murdered them, and like no follow-up at all of like talking about that. Maybe that's something that would happen next week, so maybe I'll hold off my I don't know, my critiques about that. But I think that like I think that also goes to the point of like maybe in hindsight this would be my last, you know, to rank all the episodes, like this might be the least, because it was the first time that I really was seeing some like disconnect between, I don't know, just the storytelling around our characters. But yeah, to go back to your question that you asked me initially, I did not expect him to to kill his brothers and to just be fine with it. Like I thought it was gonna be something that, okay, I just did it because I was pissed off at my brothers, and then he realized that, and it like fucks him up for life, and he's like really regretful for it, and he's just like, I don't know, it's like a big traumatic experience, which is what it should be, right? Like if he is actually just a little boy that just was mad at his brothers, and he just like, oh, I'm gonna lock you in here, not realizing that it would actually just kill them. And I am hoping for some just follow up. I think next week, and if that doesn't happen, I'll be a little bit bummed.
It's tough because I was really worried when Sophia was talking about the kids. She's gonna be like, "Oh," and she gave the names. Like the mom, Oz's mom gave Sophia the names. I was worried. She's like, "Yeah, I know those kids' name. They found them in a fucking, sewer. What like." It's the tough thing. Like if they're down there and they just got flushed away, I don't know. That's gonna be hard for it to come back, right? And Oz's mom doesn't think he had anything to do with it. So even Julian Rush's like analysis or whatever, what would cause that conversation to happen, right? If for Oz be like, "Oh, and I killed my brothers," like, I don't, I actually don't think we're gonna touch back to it next week because there's so much, and
No.
I just don't know how we can jump there. But some other points, Christopher Evans, who's joined us on the trivia last night, says the episode did a great job showing Oz really piece of shit. Just in case we're all feeling sympathy. Yeah, because again, this episode starts and this happens. I'm like, I don't really want this guy to win, because
Yeah.
this is a terrible person. And Mike says, I think he didn't intend to kill him, but by time it became too late to save them, he justified it to himself. I'm I'm 50-50 on this to answer this question because I could say, and even my 50-50. Okay, so if he didn't intend to kill him, he locked them up. But when he got home and he felt this life with his mom, just him and his mom, I think he was fine with. Oh, you know what? I'm fine with killing them. Like he could have the chance to go back, save him. He can go back later on that night and let him out or something like that. But I think he realized, you know what, this life's better. So if he didn't intend to kill them, he did later. Or because my thing is like Oz does that where he comes off as very nonchalant and unknowing and almost like, yeah, I'm gonna lock him up and screw you. But he's done that multiple times in shows where he does that, but we know he's like bullshitting everybody and he's actually serious and wanting to hurt someone or make a move. So that's why I could see Oz in his mind playing it nonchalantly. Like, oh, you fucking make fun of me, screw you, and he closes it. And he did just want to kill them because he's just tired of like he didn't want to leave his mom. He's tired of, I could have used a little bit more, but tired of his brothers. He wants to, make a move and be the only son. So I'm 50-50, but my 50-50 is like either way at one point. I don't think he ever was like, oh, they're just going to find their way out. Because once he saw that water, he knew it was up. And because again, and that's my only thing is like, that's what takes me away from him the brothers would have come back and told the mom, and that's where I think there's a disconnect for me of him knowing, oh, they might find their way out and everything like that. But who knows? Maybe we'll touch upon it next week. Maybe we won't. But I think that did a good job of showing, okay, again, Penguin, bad guy. But so we get that. He goes back to the apartment. He finds Victor. Victor's knocked out unconscious. Tells Victor to go round up the troops. I guess we talk about Victor now because he's there. I don't think he's just rounding up the troops. I think there's something more at play here.
Joining
because
Sophia.
I don't know. Just because it's just for them to have that moment where Oz sees a guy and he's like, "Oh, Victor," and it's not him, to throw that out the end. I just felt like it was them reminding us, "Hey, Victor's not here," and you could be right here that he's just recruiting them. But I just feel like we would have gotten scenes of that, especially because this was a shorter episode. I just feel like we could have got some scenes of him talking to Try. Like I don't know. I guess what the big thing is, what Oz is at gunpoint to Sophia next week, and Victor and a bunch of his people show up. Like I just don't see that happening. So it just felt odd that we got no scenes of Victor other than that one, and at the end they made a mention of it. But Taylor, you just think he's recruiting right now, right? Nothing else.
I think he's recruiting right now. I think you're right in saying like there could be something else going on. I'm just gonna pay mind to it being that he just suffered from this explosion and he's walking around and fucking Gotham just floods and bombs under the ground, just getting fucked up everywhere. So he's just in the chaos. Like his ears just popped. He's thinking he's seeing people he knows, and he thought it was his mom that was dead there like 5 minutes ago. Like just he's not very present right now at the time. And he stumbled into the cop, and the cop is like, "Hey, Sophia wants to see you." Just knocks him out. So he's not very coherent when he thought that was Vic.
Mike, this is a hot take, and I don't agree with it. He says, I think the mom knows he killed him and she chooses to lie to herself about it. I don't think that. I think that's. I think that the. I don't know if the mom would still love Oz that way. I can't get on that bandwagon. Do you guys think that could be possible? That she's just lying to herself? She knows
it's
Oz
possible.
took him out that night? Okay.
I think it's possible. I think it would also like add to her own like mental illness of like her just obsession with like, okay, Oz, you have to take care of me. Like you're like you gotta be running the show. If you're making all these moves, it's got to lead to something. Maybe that's like just a lie that she's telling herself, but
Yeah.
I I still think that she would want to tell herself that's not real. So maybe she just formulates, a manufactured situation, like an Arthur Fleck type thing.
Oh no! Oh yeah, he's not the penguin. Taylor, any chance the mom knows
No,
about the
Janice.
brothers?
Janice is the penguin, or is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Arthur Fleck.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought. And I mean, if it happens, I wouldn't actually be surprised. I part of me wants to say I could see that being the case, but I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, the next episode, we're gonna have Oz and her be confronted with each other, and he's gonna let her know, and it's gonna be fucking brutal.
Yeah, and that could be how they tied together. She goes, "Oh, I always knew." So I could be completely wrong. I just feel like if that happens, I really need to rethink about these characters and where they have in this past little show. But Kirkland, where are you and Victor? I think something's up with him. Taylor thinks he's just recruiting. What is the deal with Victor in this episode?
I'm a little unsure on where I'd put my chips on Victor right now, because I don't know. I am definitely in the camp that he's not going to last beyond this show. So because I'm under that, that vein of thinking, I think there is quite likely something that is sussery going on. But thinking about like everything that he's done throughout the show, it doesn't really like all make sense to me, like why he would not be loyal to Oz. I feel like he like very likely could just be routing the troops, and because this is the penultimate, like let's just save Vic for the finale because we're gonna kill him off anyways. Let's just save all that stuff in the finale. I could very much see it being that, just like quite likely being the case. So I think if I had to choose, like that is the case. Like it's okay. No, he's just rallying everyone because we didn't see everyone that he went to get, right. Like he was supposed to get Zhao, a couple of the other guys. I can't remember all the factions that he's going after. But anyways, there's people that he could be looking for that would definitely keep him busy here. But very well likely could be something sus. And I don't know. I was intrigued by the quick little like face to face that him and Oz have together, because he does show some like, oh, I'm sorry, and that's kind of what we were theorizing earlier on in the season, right? Of like, oh, could this be the reason why Oz just snaps and eventually kills him, because he is the direct reason why his mom dies. And how I was already kind of laying out just like the early flashbacks, it shows how obsessed he is with his mom. Like that would very much likely be a reason for him to kill him. And you already brought up like he already killed his brothers, like why would he not kill this guy? But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that.
Yeah, but they surprised, like you said, that he was that was an issue. It's just go out there and get stuff done. He wasn't mad at him yet, but again, maybe if that results in if his mother dies, that could result in Oz changing his mind on that feeling he had on Victor. Like, wouldn't that be heartbreaking if Victor comes back, saves him, even though Oz's mom dies? So at the end of the day, they've took out Sophia, Sal's gone, they got the drugs, everything's going on, and then they're sitting together, but then he's gonna kill Victor because, like, well, at the end of the day, you let my mom down, so I gotta fucking kill you. I don't know, it's gonna be interesting next week to see which way they go. But Penguin goes there, sends Victor off. I find this is where, like, this wasn't a big nitpick for me, but I found it very odd that the events is the mom's dead. Oz is my boy. That's happening, right? And then Sophia shows up, clocks him, takes her, gone for a few hours. Penguin shows up, gets to the apartment, finds Vic. Mom's gone. Then right after, Salvatore Maroni and his guys come up, beat him up. It feels very, I don't know, just kind of clunky to me. There's a few things in this episode that feel clunky, like. This is something I really did not like. There's nothing for me I can justify it where, okay, they get Sal. That's fine. Let Sal beat up on him, right? He killed his wife and kid. He's a motherfucker, and I'm going to make you pay it, right? And then the next scene we see those two, I believe, there might be some other stuff in the middle. It's just Sal, like, punching him or just saying stuff to him, right? But the next thing we see is them down in the sewers or whatever, the subways. And I just found it very odd that it's like... one guy gets shot, and then a guy with AK-47, like he tells the guys keep working, keep working, and he like walks. They felt like NPC characters. Like Kirk
Oh,
was
yeah.
playing Hitman today, and it felt like that where he's like, just hold steady. He walks the AK-47, shoots him. Sal and like two guys walk up, and they're like, we're taking over. And I just thought like, okay, Sal does not know what's down there. The fact that Sophia is just like, I don't know, having a midlife crisis while this is going on is not like with Sal at the same time. That felt very odd. I thought she would want to be completely with him or doing other stuff. But that's where, for me, very clunky, the whole Penguin getting kidnapped. And then for me, it was clunky of they get down there with a few guys. Penguin and Sal fight in the subway, which we'll talk about, and then Penguin gets that equation, and then he gets out, and just all his men are standing around, and Penguin's like, "You did a lot of good things here today." So it's just like, did Sal bring two guys? Like, yeah, that's it. We're taking it. This is where it felt like a TV show of we don't have a budget to have Salvatore with a bunch of guys, but it just felt odd of the this confrontation was over so quickly all around.
Yeah.
I've literally no issues with what they do with Sal. I thought that was kind of funny. It makes sense. Like, if you didn't watch, him and Ping were fighting in a subway station or a subway train. Sal just has a heart attack from all the strenuous activity and dies. And I love that Penguin's such a piece of shit that he's like, oh no. And I'm like, oh, is he showing like some sort of remorse because Sal's dying? Like he wanted to maybe work with him? No, it's just because he wants to be able to tell Sal that he beat him. Like he doesn't want him to die without him knowing. He gets a little lines in. He walks away and they keep saying like, yeah, I fucking beat you. You couldn't do it. Like he's dead. He's gone.
Start shooting him after he's dead.
He's such like a sore winner. But so I was fine with all that. Sal and Penguin's back and forth were all good there of him talking about his burnt kid and want to work for Sophia. But the whole takeover, it felt like it was supposed to be this big deal, and then these kind of just scrub guys just easily beat Salvatore's guys. Penguin beat Salvatore, and it was nothing. That was it. So that's where it felt like Sal. I'm just gonna say Sal because I'm fucking up. The fatigue's getting to me. Sal's build up to the ending, I'm fine with being the heart attack, but the actual takeover here I felt was very anticlimactic for me. I'm not sure what you guys thought about the ending of Sal and kidnapping, all this stuff in the Bliss Factory.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind it as a whole. I feel like, yeah, like the perishing of Sal, that was kind of funny, and like it is pretty lucky, I guess, how it happens when Penguin is just like hand to hand combating Sal, like in the train or whatever location he's his final resting place is. I did think like this doesn't really make like I feel like Sal would have like a lot more guys here if like this is like the hostile takeover, like because for all they know, like if they're going to Oz's like main area, he could have like a full army, which is basically what he does have, right? So I don't know. I am somewhat with you there. Like that kind of seemed easy, and then when he just like has a heart, like I don't have a problem with the heart attack. I liked that it was able to kind of shine a light more on Oz's behavior of like just showcasing more of the character. Like he's such a sore winner, like you said. Like he has to be able to shoot this guy, look him in the eyes, like I won. I did like seeing all of that.
He's gone. He's in another realm, you know.
Yeah. You just think about venison or his poor family.
Yeah.
So I did like all that stuff, but yeah, I'm completely in agreement too. Like a lot of the characters that were in that scene were just totally NPCs. Like they just look so like airheady and like not really reactive to what's going on. But yeah, so not the perfect execution, I think, on that big takeover, because I thought it was gonna be so much more intense. This was also an episode that I feel like more than any other episode in the past, I was like, man, maybe Oz isn't gonna make it out of the show. Like I don't know. I just feel like he's really setting up a lot of things that you can't really go back from here. But I don't know. It's more and more looking like he's just gonna be the victor of this season's. But I still think they'll do a good job at making the like audience see this guy as a villain, so that the next time we see him, we're not like just rooting for him. Like, oh yeah, he can beat Batman. Like he is still a bad guy, and yeah, just with like the flashback stuff, it's like he's kind of always been a sour grape and hasn't really gotten much better. Just a little bit more dangerous as he's gotten older.
What about you, Taylor? What do you think about the takeover and Sal's demise here?
Yeah, I was not expecting the heart attack. That really caught me off guard, but it, again, subverted my expectations. So I think it was great because it just really delivered on adding so much more depth to Oz as a character and just how shitty he is and his actions and decisions. So I thought it was really really great. And with him with Sal gone, it's just now back to being a 1v1. I can see maybe some people are like, well, then there's no point in Sal being alive from the start, like 2 episodes ago, yada yada yada. But I think like I like this way of just kind of keeping him alive and letting him serve the benefit of being at that particular place at that particular time, and allowing there to be more development with Oz and other characters as well. But yeah, no, I think Oz at this point still just piece of shit, and yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I didn't think Sal was gonna make it out of the show just because they put him in the show, and I could just see them sticking that. The only reason I kind of was hoping he'd make it out there because they left that thread about the whole Waynes and Sal and that whole setup, and I like Clancy Brown, so I was kind of hoping he might make it in the movies, and maybe Bruce Wayne or Batman would have a scene similar to the way he had with Carmine, but that's obviously not a possibility now because he is dead. So there you go. And if you watch just the movies, you'll just think Sal's just still in prison and everything. So that's why they kept it in contain little container. That's fine. But alas, I'm a little disappointed there. But shout out Clancy Brown. I love it that every couple years he keeps popping up in GeekVerse projects. So I can't wait to see what he pops into next. Hopefully, one a GV movie. Because I'd love to work with Mr. Clancy Brown. But again, great as usual. Great scenes here. But so yeah, he dies, and then I'm gonna dovetail the penguin thing for now. We're gonna come back to it because we got Sophia, and this is something where I need to see more of. And again, if she survives, I think I'll be more okay with it. But she's having kind of a conscious crisis going on here. She has to go see. She got Oz's mom. She's talking to her. They're having a back and forth, which I think was a great scene. The first scene with Oz's mom was really really good. I think, God, I can't remember her full name, but the actress that plays Sophia, she's doing a fantastic job. And just kind of seeing this character and just the way she reacts to Oz's mom just being like so bullheaded and just kind of like brave, like almost arrogant of like you are dead to rights, but his mom does not give a shit. She's gonna call her out and say he's gonna kill you. I'm gonna be dancing on your grave. Like she's very impressed by this, but then she's kind of taken aback when obviously her sickness hits. Julian Rush, who of course we'll talk about in a little bit later, he's randomly back to give us some exposition of people. I know somebody that knows somebody, and that girl in your family. The cops want to talk to her. They said she's seen some things. This is a problem. Pretty much insinuating he'll like I don't know, do something, kill her, lobotomize. But no, Sophia's gonna go talk to her. Very good, touching scene of her telling her, "Hey, this sucks. Your mom's dead, your dad's dead, but I guess they're all bad people, and you'll find yourself in a family, and then you'll be loved." And this is all fine. She's a panic attack. I'm like, this. It's the next scene for me that I need to see what they do next week, or even if she makes it the Batman. Of all of a sudden, she's just having a panic attack. Julian Rush is talking her down. She's talking about like this isn't the person she wants to be, and which I just felt like we've spent 6 episodes of this her wanting to be this person. So it feels very odd for the penultimate for her to be like, I might not want to do this. And then when it's like, well, what do you want to do? And her revelation is just, well, I want to make Oz hurt. It's like, well, that's what you want to do.
The same thing, yeah.
It's the same thing. And that's where it's just like, don't do any of this. Like her being mad, like upset about the kid thing, that's great. That plays, and you can play up the whole I'm just like my dad, but the whole, well, I want to do something different. But it's just, maybe we'll see next week what that is. But the Oz thing doesn't make sense. I guess she said she also wants to be free. So if she's just like, I don't know, because she bombed a place we'll talk about and did other things, like great, but it's like Batman's around, so you'd assume eventually he's going to get to that. So Sophia, you don't got to take it upon yourself to like take out the scum of Gotham. So I was very mixed on some of the storyline decisions. Acting wise, all great stuff. And Julian Rush, I also don't like. I'm getting more disappointed because we're like, oh fuck, what could he do? And again, next week this will answer this. But when she's like, hey, I need your expertise, and I was like, oh shit, here we go, we're going somewhere. And when it's just like he's just gonna give Oz's mom like therapy lessons, as of right now, I'm like, oh, all right. So hopefully there is some information that comes out of that. But as of right now, again, it's just like, okay, cool. They found out that they danced at a club. Like that's Julian's big arc is we can have a place to meet up Oz, the big bang at the end of this finale. Like, I don't know. So I had some issues. Acting wise was all good here. But Kirkland, what do you think about? You got Rush stuff, you got Sophia stuff, a little Ozmum stuff. What do you think about what's going on here in the penultimate episode.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I was a little taken aback with just the crises that our hang woman was going through.
Right, the hung woman.
I think it's just it doesn't really track with like the growth of the character throughout the whole season to just arrive at this point that it's like, man, everything I've gone through this season, this isn't really what I want. Like I burnt the whole mansion, I changed the name, but I'm still just like plagued with the shadow of my father.
Killed
And
my family, that
yeah,
too. Yep.
I don't think her going through like that way of thinking is necessarily bad. It's just I think because it's happened here, it's like really like we just done all this setup to get to
Yeah.
this point. It's like I don't want to do this anymore, but I'm just gonna make Oz pay. But it's like okay, now we're just back to what we were doing before you just had this revelation.
You're still doing
So,
one of those goals.
yeah,
Like if you had a
so-
few goals, it's still the same. Like at first when I'm like, oh, like just to make her run, I didn't think they were gonna do that. But like, oh, that'd be interesting. If like this character's just like, you know what, fuck it. Actually, I almost wouldn't be mad at that result of I'm turning into my father. I don't want to do this. I'm just out of here. Fuck the city. And like, it's a weird ending for her, like her and Julia and Rush like run away together. But like, I wasn't opposed. But then when he's like, well, what do you want? And there's like, and then I also want Oz to feel pain. It's like,
yeah.
okay, yep. We were
I
doing that
think-
already.
I think I was also like, I don't know, maybe picturing like, if she is having this realization that she doesn't want to be, in this world, but she still just wants to make Oz pay. Well, she's gonna do something really fucked up to make him pay, and then just go out with a bang, and that's kind of like the end of her story. Like she ends up getting offed in the process, and then maybe she just like gives all of the wealth to the orphan girl. Like I could kind of see that happening. But who knows? Maybe that's gonna be the next Hangman.
Yeah.
Give her 15 years or 20 years, whatever it is, and she's out for revenge.
I thought she's gonna take her, but no, she because I thought she was gonna see the marks, be like, oh man, I am doing because this to me, like she's like, man, I don't want to be like. The point is, she's turning into her father, right? She doesn't want to be that. To me, that would be, well, you know what? Don't leave your blood relative rotting in Arkham. Maybe go get or whatever. It's just some, whatever mental hospital. Like maybe go get her and start new. You can leave Julian behind. You're not gonna bring him. He's kind of creepy, but just take you got loads of money. Leave, and Oz would just take over. He'll eventually get some of those families in there, and you're good. Like that's what it was odd, and that's why I just thought it was more again her becoming the villain of no. Even though I might care for this little girl, I'm about to be in the shit. I'm about to go to war. I can't have this girl coming in here, right? So I thought, oh, that's a nice thing. Like let her go to another family, and I guess maybe that could be on the whole better, but not if you run away. So. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm interested in Sophia having like a suicide mission. If it's gonna be like a come to the Monroe so we can all die together. Like I don't know if I want that. And well, let's take an ad break. I'll go. But we'll take an ad break and we'll come back to this. We'll be right back. And we're back. Kirk,
What I was
I'm
gonna
sorry.
what I was gonna throw onto there is like I actually thought Sophia was just gonna tell her like, yeah, fucking kill your parents. Like this is the reality of this world, and like it would be like a big like school of hard knocks type lesson that she's gonna be teaching her, and like you got to survive like in this type of world. And then I don't know, I don't really know any of these characters comic book wise, so I'm like maybe this is some like comic book character that's gonna
I
evolve
don't think
into
it is, but
fucking
you never know.
Talia al Ghul.
Yeah.
Something like that, who knows. But no, I just talking about the scene overall, I complete agreement. I think you already said it, just like the performance of Sophia here is just like, I mean, throughout the whole show, she's just been so fantastic.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're seeing some just great range throughout the whole show, and in this particular scene, because I just think up until now she's just like maxed out on confidence of like being this leader. She's a gigante now, right? Like she's got her own name, so. I think I was surprised that she was kind of on the back foot when she has the panic attack when she's leaving the area there, yeah, I don't know. I like what I'm seeing because of the performance and everything, but I am very curious as to how they're gonna round out this character, Sophia, because I don't know, she's not gonna make it past like the show. I wouldn't
I don't
think so.
No.
So yeah, I hope I'm satisfied at the end.
Any thoughts on Julian Rush before I throw to Taylor?
I fucking hate this guy. I feel like I was like, I don't know, unsure about him, but like the more I get him, I'm like, this guy's just so fucking weird. I don't know. And like now, like you already mentioned, like he's just gonna be the therapist to Oz's mom for this last moment. I don't know. Maybe there'll be
I
some crazy
yeah.
revelation type.
I hope it just results in something, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. He's a weirdo. Very just obsessed with Sophia, and not a big fan.
Yeah. Taylor, thoughts on Rush, Sophia, all this stuff?
Um, I like how Rush has proven his usefulness here. Aside from just being like a sex toy, I think he's
When he walks into the kitchen, I'm like, oh my god, this guy's just be like, are you
He's
ready,
ready.
Sophia?
Where's the
Starts
chair?
like taking off his shirt.
Listen, Sophia,
I
I have
brought
no
the chair.
information, but I'm ready whenever you are.
Yeah, it was just great. It was cool to see him get used on different levels here when it came to Oz's mom and then it came to actually Sophia just having this panic attack. But I like the idea of her just kind of realizing like, shit, I'm doing the same things my father did, and that's defeating the purpose of why I want to make a change. I want to do and run this city as a criminal and just running this crime family, but I don't want to be doing it the same way my father was doing it. And so that's the big difference here than the key takeaway that I had, because then she realized like, shit, like I'm playing by my father's rules. I'm doing the same thing that this old hierarchy was all about. And I like that when she changes the dynamic, because Oz is telling her what she thinks she wants to hear, what she thinks she knows, yada yada yada. It's like, no, I don't give a fuck about the drops that you have in your little lab, because I know it's a trap, yada yada. So she baits him and lures him and plays his weakness against him. So yeah, I think she was pretty awesome in this episode. Yeah.
Okay. Julian, you think he's gonna make it? Not
No.
Oz? No. Okay. Yeah, no, he's a dead man. Oh, I think Sophia could even kill him. Like
Her or Vic. Vic might get him.
I love that you think Vic's hero kill gonna be like Julian. It's gonna be Oz versus Sophia, and then Julian Rush versus Victor.
I
Like,
could see Rush in the chair, tied up, and then someone will walk in the room like an Oz. Just
to fuck
like,
him.
Yeah. Get me the fuck out of here.
And then this is another moment that I did not like. Where so he calls her. Let's make a swap. The bliss for my mom, of course. As we talked about before, he has a trap set for Sophia. Sophia sends a car. They do this shot where it's a close up on her. She phones Oz. He picks up. They have a conversation. I don't know about you guys. I could tell completely, like, right when she picked up when she was talking, like, she's on that fucking car. Like,
Yeah, instantly.
It's like we know what they're doing. We've been there before. It's like, no, I know what you're doing. She's just. I don't know. She's talking about stuff where it's just like, I want to do stuff that not my dad does. Like she's pretty much the same conversation she had with Julian. She's kind of having it to Oz in like a more sinister sort of way about making him pay and all this stuff. The driver jumps out, just books it out of there. Oz goes to the trunk, and she's
That's
like,
the first red flag. Like,
yeah. But Oz goes to the trunk because Sophie's like, I left you a little something in there. So we're kind of all assuming, okay, what happened to Alberto, at the premiere? That's what's going to happen now is he's going to find his mom. And I prefer that to happen. Also, I don't know what happens next week, so we will see. But for me, I was very let down by, it's a bomb. You got 20 seconds. If you act fast enough, you might get out of there. I was fine with Oz leaving his soldiers because, like, that's an Oz move, And I like the, the symmetry of, okay, he goes back full circle to where his brothers died to hide, right? Okay, cool. But my two problems was Sophia felt very Dr. Evil, James Bond of like, so here's the thing. So tell me if she's a fucking idiot or not. Her plan is, okay, I got Oz's mom, right? We're going to take her to Monroe, this club where they danced and whatever. We're going to go there. We're going to blow up the Bliss Factory, which I was surprised because I thought that was going to make it to the Batman 2. Who knows now? I don't even know if it's going to. But, okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to get Oz's mom. We're going to bring her to the club. We're going to sit there, right? And then we're going to send a car. We're going to blow up Oz's factory, and he's going to come meet us there. And then let's say she makes a call. She does that. And then Julian Rush walks in. And she's like, what is it, Kink Baby? And then Julian Rush says, Oz died in the explosion. So she's just sitting there at the club with Julian Rush and her mom because the whole setup is to do like a, kill her in front of all, like, that sort of stuff, right? So if this, because she's like, I hope you got enough, you got enough time. You should be able to get out of there. What if Oz just fucking dies? What if he just blows up and dies? And now she's just sitting there like an idiot with Oz's mom, like, oh, I guess I'm just gonna have to shoot her now. Like that's where it's feel like I don't think I'd have to think back on the Batman. There's probably some stuff, but I feel like there's nothing that's so overtly in this show or the Batman that feels like that, where it's like a mustache. Oh, I got this evil plan that has to go X, Y, and Z. I know that's the Riddler. I know like but to me that's years of planning. The Riddler, he's locked up in a little basement. Sophia thought of this plan on the day, and her plan was, let's drive a bomb into Oz's thing. Like, what if he fucking tripped? What if he tripped while he's running and he just explodes? So that's where, for me, took me out of it. And my last point, where this has been a debate the past few weeks, more and more I see coming up. I did not have a problem with it. This is the first time where I better get a mention next week. This city just went through a big tsunami, all this stuff flooding. We had like a mini explosion earthquake that took out a bunch of blocks. The cement was folding within itself. If we don't hear that any mention of the Batman or anything, I hope at least in the Batman they mention something, because this is to the point now, the crime mob stuff. I could see Bruce the Batman being like, I got bigger fish to fry. There's like a whole bomb that just went off and the city got rocked again. And they just showed in the last movie he was there helping out when they had like a city crisis, right? So I'm not saying that Pattinson has to be in the show, but that now is the point where I'm like, yeah, where is Batman now? Like, they better make the Oz finale happen like right after, and then they pick up and be like, okay, he did come investigate, because I feel like that's a little too. We're getting too big scale there. But Taylor, what did you think about the bomb decoy? Did you think it was going to be his mom? Where are you on the whole Batman thing? Do you think it now is a little suspicious that the cities are getting rocks and Batman's not around? What are your thoughts on some of this?
Yeah, I thought that, okay, expectations are being subverted again, because when that vehicle came out and that driver just duked out of there, I thought, oh, it's a bomb for sure. It caught me off guard because when Oz walks around the back, the music changes and you just see like the kind of hair or whatever, the clothing. I thought, oh shit, no, it's actually the mom and she's dead. They're really going that route, okay? And oh, he throws the blanket back and it's actually the bomb. It's like, okay, yeah, I like how they kind of played with this. You just don't really know. So that was good. The bomb blowing up and yeah, him just deacon out of there, going into the same place, the same hole that was his salvation, which was actually his brother's death grave, which was crazy to think about. But him leaving his whole crew to die and him crawling out of there,
floating in there, like
brothers floating in
Resident
there,
Evil or something.
The whole fucking
We found you, Oz. It's your turn to hide and seek.
The whole block just blowing up from underneath itself and collapsing. It's just absolutely chaos. And yeah, what is Batman doing? He's just watching this on the news, just taking it easy. So I mean, the only thing I can headcanon myself is that he's recovering from fighting the Riddler in that
But
like
remember,
the racks up above, and he had to shoot himself with adrenaline, and he got shot with like fucking shotgun. It saw a shotgun right in his chest and all that. So he's just bruised and banged.
remember a few weeks ago we talked about that. We don't know if this was weeks after or months after. If it's months after, it's like, okay, this guy's Batman. Like, now I feel like he should be out there now. Like, how much recovery does he need? What's else he doing?
That's true. Then he's probably well, just on vacation, living it up,
Looking for Selena.
Yeah.
looking for Selena.
What are your thoughts, Kirkland?
Yeah, I was really shocked when the whole fucking city blocks just fell down. Because I kind of just forgot that they were like right below the city, just in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle tunnels. And yeah, like I don't know, it's just the scale up until that point never felt like that large. Like I was almost expecting like another flood to commence after that whole like thing dropped. It's like, man, this could bring down like buildings, like the amount of just devastation that this explosion is having on the infrastructure here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like you, Travis. Like as soon as she was like on the phone and it was just like different lighting, I'm like, oh no, she's not in there. 'Cause if she's in there, it's like they're gonna light up Oz right here with like a machine gun. Like I feel like that's how the scene's gonna go. But then she just like keeps talking, and I'm like, oh, she's not in there. There's no way she's in there. And then yeah, you got long legs run out the driver door, just runs out of there. And I don't know. Didn't he say that they locked the door though, like behind the car? Like where did
He
that
did
person
say
even go
that.
to? So
We're all locked together.
they're just like
yeah.
hiding in the tunnels, like
They
waiting.
died. They fucking died.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
And I was a little thrown off too because what does Oz see that like brings him to tears? I
No,
thought it was
think
the
he-
mom at first, and then
That's what it is.
Oh,
pretty
you just
sure.
thought it was the mom?
Yeah, I think he just thought, just the pure
Okay.
idea of, oh man, my mom's laying here dead, you know?
Okay. Yeah, cause that happened, and then we see the mom, and I'm like, was that Vic? Like, did they really just fucking kill Vic off, like, off screen? We don't even see his face. Like, really? I guess I could have went back and rewatched it, but I wanted to ask you guys, so I saved it. Yeah, I didn't really think too much of it, like, at the time, but now that you mention of like everything had to go well for this for this to be satisfying for Sophia, right? She's like, I think I left enough time for you to run out. She's like, oops, like maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you just fucking killed him there, like your whole plan is pretty out the window, and now you're just stuck with his mom with dementia. So yeah, it was didn't really.
Stuck with her, the road trip of those three together, you know?
So yeah, like I didn't really think about it, but definitely I don't know, when you shine light on it, it's doesn't make the most sense.
No, but it's a classic. The bad guy needs to see the villain punished in person because you could literally just killed her, put her in the killed her, do it,
Killed
kill her.
her.
You could have killed her, put her in the trunk, also had a bomb there. I mean, like, oh, you know, Merry Christmas, like. That's it. Two birds, one
Help the
stone.
animals.
You take out the bliss, you kill him, you make him have some pain. You can even FaceTime. Be like, hey, I'm not gonna talk to you until you FaceTime me. You literally could you could say that's part of the deal, right? You could say, I'm not gonna so then she could see his reaction. Like that's the bad thing about technology. She could see his reaction to his mom being dead and then blow him up. Done. She's done it all. She's done it all.
Yeah,
Easy
his
plan.
face is just like he's got the old Dexter hair and everything.
You know, Sophia, my camera is kind of broken right now. I can't do that. And it's like a whole awkward, like, scary movie scene. Like, no, just like it's in your settings. No, it hasn't worked since I got it. I tried. They said I got to go in the shop. No, you just got to go like Bluetooth and everything. But yeah, so we'll see. But that happens. And then, yeah, it's very similar to the end of the Batman show, except of water. This time it's more dusty. Oz walks out of subway. It's a bunch of people. And he sees a guy that thinks Victor. We already covered that. But then he sees a character that looks familiar. We only saw this character, I think, once, maybe twice. I could be wrong. I think it's twice at least. But it's the cop that was a drop head addict, and then he just like says something like, "Oh, Sophia's waiting for you," and then knocks Oz out. And the same thing. It's like, I guess, feels like a very convoluted way to get Oz to me, but that's what's gonna happen. Is Oz? So I think there's part of you that is right about Victor leading some sort of cavalry, because like I don't know how Oz is gonna get out of this, right? Because mother's dead to rights, they're going to enemy location. This cop's gonna have Oswald all tied up. They should tie him that fucking chair again, like episode 1. That seemed to work, but
well, he's been a reoccurring thing, right? Like Oz was tied up at the funeral, and Victor came in there, or was it? It wasn't the funeral. It was somewhere around there, and then Oz was tied up again with the Falcons, and then Oz pops in, or not
even
Oz,
this
Victor
episode,
drives in.
he's handcuffed and everything, so he's getting these situations where he can't
He's gonna wake up
move.
next to Julian Rush. He's be like, first time.
He's tied up
on the
again.
chair.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, what, Sophia? You gonna punish me?" Like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna punish you." Then just opens the door to rock hard Julian Rush, and he just gives him therapy though. He doesn't do anything sex wise. He has that red light, but yeah. Any like I said, I think Taylor's right. Where I could even see something where maybe Victor comes to the cavalry, saves him. Maybe Victor accidentally shoots his mom or something. I don't know. Again, I could see it just be that his mom dies and Penguin takes this as justification of, oh, you fucked up because you didn't watch her. Like he could be like, oh, none of this would happen if you would have been paying attention. Like you, like right when the dust is settled, I guarantee they could even go all the way back. I don't know if I'm gonna do a trash told you, but something like they're burying a body, or at that first episode when they're digging it and Penguin got up top, was going to shoot him. He's like, oh, look at the sunset, turn around. And he didn't shoot him. I could see them being back in the very same grave, burying someone else, and his mom's, even burying his mom, legitimately, and talking about, like, well, this wouldn't have all happened if you would have just fucking paid attention, and boom, gone. Like that's a lesson to him. He kind of, we'll see, but that's my prediction, is at least saved by Victor. Mom doesn't make it. He blames Victor. Fingers crossed that Sophia does make it, but I think she's a goner now, because with this whole speech of not wanting to be like her father, I would feel weird if she makes that speech and then goes back to like the Batman 2 just being like another crime boss. So I think Sophia will
Gotta
eat
make
it.
this guy pay now. And then this guy pay. Gotta make
Bruce
this guy
Wayne, he was a fucking little asshole to me in kindergarten. I want to see him in pain. But yeah, I think she's gonna eat it next week. So those are my final predictions. Final predictions from you guys?
I think someone will kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. They will do it and
Yeah.
kill her.
Oz's mom.
Yeah. I think she'll die too. Oz
Yep.
mom, Victor, Sophia, Julian Rush.
Julian. Watch Julian make it. I hope he makes it.
He's like, I am the leader of the Gigantes now.
We
Me
got
and Sophia
married
got married. Yeah,
before we came over
secretly.
here. Yeah, Oz, your mom was the witness.
Yeah, a lot of death, but Mr. Penguin will be the one at the top of the castle. But it would make sense that his mom dies. You know, it's like the cost of everything. Here he is, the top of the pyramid, but he's all alone.
And he started this, right? Because, like, as much as, not that I'm saying we're rooting for him now, I'm not now because of all the stuff we saw with his brothers. They've made him to be firmly in the villain category, but he didn't, like, have to kill Alberto, right? Like he didn't have to make that money grab. So, like, that's the chain of events, is he killed Alberto, and, well, that cost him his mom, right? So it's just like it's a full circle.
Eye for an eye, right?
Exactly. Taylor, last minute, obviously. So finally, your final answer is Victor's making it out alive this season. Would you even accept that he could die by not the hands of Oz?
Yep.
Okay, so it's just you just think for sure if he's either alive or if he dies, it ain't Oz that's killing him. That's correct. Oh, finally, at the very end of episode 7.
No, I'll stand true with my. It won't be Oz that kills him.
For opening scene of the next episode, it's just
gonna pull
baseball
through.
bat. You fucking idiot! They have my mom now.
You reminded me. I did enjoy the fact that when Sal was like, he caught Oz and had Oz at the rights, throwing him around, and Oz kept saying like, "Just don't hurt my mom. Don't hurt my mom."
Even though he like burned his son.
That's exactly it. You have no say. He's like, I'm trying. Like Sophia's gonna fuck you over, like Sal. And it's like, man, you have no pull because you burnt his fucking son and wife alive. Like you got not a single fucking piece of ammunition in your gun right now, man.
And like 2 minutes later,
laughed.
he's like, you know what I remember the most? The smell.
Yeah.
This fucker.
And that's what I like that guy saved him. I think this was the first time in the series we got to see that, okay, we talked about like, oh, what's gonna happen when Oz has no more stories or webs to spin, and this was it. Where Sal's like he did the push her against Sophia, you know, don't hurt my family. Oh, and then he did the aggressive, like I fucking killed your family. All the things didn't really work on Sal, right? Because he's like, no, man, like this is poisoned well. Like there's nothing that you can say that's gonna get you out of this. So,
but I guess in closing predictions, I think Sophia is gonna live. She's gonna go back to whatever prison she came from, Arkham. I don't know, what else do we have here?
Give us the breakdown
Sophia?
of GM mode now.
yeah, Sophia, is she make it out?
Yeah,
Ta-
that's what I just said.
Okay, can you give us the full breakdown of W2K 24 GM mode? What are the top 5 things you want to do in the season 1?
Top 5 things you want to do in season 1? Well, you got characters that aren't necessarily like the greatest, but you want them to be making you money. Their popularity is going to go down, but you want them to make money. They're like the in-between, like, what do you call them? Promoters, I guess. They're just talking to the crowds, right? Because you want to get fans. You want to get more like watchers, viewers, and fans. So you need to set up rivalries. You need to have characters. And you have to build up certain rivalries by having their matches up, and it doesn't always work.
Impressive.
Because at one point when I told Taylor to listen up on the stream, he's literally he had it's on. This is recorded. He had full mouth open, like ready for Mr.
Like
Rush.
this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was feeling it. No, I'll give you
Listen
the
to
points.
Creed.
That's enough points. You got it there. So okay, so you think sorry, I didn't hear. Sophia does or doesn't make it?
Yeah, she makes it. She's going to Arkham.
She's going to Arkham. Okay.
She's gonna pull out of there.
Mr. Rush. Speaking of pulling out, is Mr. Rush making it?
No, he's fucking done. He's dead.
Okay. And is there any last minute? Do we? I don't think we've seen Batman or Bruce Wayne. Do we even see a bat signal? I'm gonna throw that out there. Do we see a bat signal?
I think we'll see a bat signal because the city is in hell, and so far Batman's on good terms with them because Batman was helping with the evac and was like helping with everything at the end there. So I think you'll see a bat signal and people will be like freaking out. That'd be super cool to get a shot of like Oz has done it, and he's got his operations. Maybe it'll be like a time jump in the next episode near the end, and then he like looks up and he's like talking to himself, and then you see the bat signal up high, and he's gonna think like, "Fuck, and I got bigger fish to fry."
Yeah, and Batman's like, they're like, "Where you been?" He's like, "I don't come if you don't put the signal out. I've been waiting."
Yeah, you guys never used it, so
Yeah. Well, we lost in the flood. Like, fuck, man. Like, we're just waiting for it. You gave us the signal. Oh, right, I did. I'm sorry about that. Alfred shit went over to you. Don't worry. That'd be a low key awesome one to see if we get Jim Gordon in this finale. That would be a super hype moment. I don't think we will. The other cop that people are wanting is you guys remember his name's Officer Martinez, and he's like like he hates Batman in a sense, but like when he's at the funeral, he's like, "Hey, Mr. Wayne!" Like he's like a big
yeah.
fanboy. Yeah, everybody's been wanting him. I don't know if we're getting him, but I would like one more cop type character. Gordon also would be the Mecca. You can bring back, I'm the Sergeant Captain guy, but like if it's Martinez, that would be great. You could even, I guess, bring that Mayor Elect in, but Gordon would be. I don't know why we've never even talked about Gordon being this. I thought that would be like actually an easy layup. Like imagine just the cleanup and just he's like, I gotta talk to the big guy about this, and so. Well, we'll see. That'll be back, or we'll be back next week on Sunday. We'll be talking about this. That'll be the finale. Should be a good one. Hopefully, it's a nice, juicy hour. And I'm excited to talk about. I think we got a lot of predictions, but how will they exactly go? We don't know. So we'll be back next week, and I promise you, it won't be boring.